first of all, I'm very grateful to have found a team of like-minded people. And I'm also very grateful to this opportunity that WSS has allowed me to present satisfaction economy as a concept, especially because it's faced so much of resistance up until now. This has been I could say, the most positive year for the concept so far. And I'm hoping that it'll just grow from there. Uh, I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Just give me a moment. Great. So, let's just start off. Today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about satisfaction economy, try and bring out what it is, why it came about, or how it came about, and also how I see it being implemented and what transitions or transformative processes that would be required to actually make something like this happen. Um, I think Julie, so just a quick understanding of what all we'd be covering today. I think Julie did a wonderful job of introducing me, so we can skip that. I'll The second thing that I usually do in these sessions that I've had in the past is ask people to actually come up with their um, own issues that they face, the personal issues that they face, family issues faced by their families, issues that they've seen being faced in their localities, and of course, environmental and global issues. Um, so just to bring that out, I'll also share some of the responses that we've got. One of the examples that I'll share with you is from the School of Humanities Summer School Learners. Just a second. So these summer school learners were aged between sorry, this was the school learners. They're aged between 13 and 18 years of age, and their responses were surprisingly very mature. They understood not just their personal issues that they needed to tackle. They also had a very good understanding of global and local issues as well. Um, Through this exercise, we then moved on to what they considered would be the one cause of all these issues, from personal to global. And they came up with many responses, including ignorance, greed, human activity, misuse of power, disunification, etc. Uh, Further on, then we discussed how these, what they considered to be causes, were also symptoms of a larger system and what that system would be, if we were to describe it. Similarly, in another exercise with another group, sorry, just a second. In another exercise with planet saving group, let me see if I can find out, just a second. So this was a group on Facebook that was sharing planet-saving ideas. And I decided also with the group's leadership to do an exercise for the group itself. And I directly asked them, because they already were discussing what the different issues across the world were. So I directly went on to the question of what they thought would be a single unifying cause of all the issues. And again, they came up with many responses, not one cause, but many: lack of intelligence, education, greed, population, strong leader missing, money, again, poor waste of resources, greenwashing, selfishness. And again, we discussed how all of these issues, including many more issues like a lot of them that have been listed here, are actually truly effects of the larger system. Um, and what is that larger system? So, so we have, from that symptomatic approach that we've been looking at things, we move on to the other perspective, which is a causal understanding of why this happens. So if we were to look at one underlying cause, single underlying cause for all these issues, we can define it as our socioeconomic system. You know, how we have our inherent nature is changing due to the nurture within this system. So what we do, why we do it, is all directed through the system, and it is replacing our Mother Earth as our nurturer. And so we're losing touch with our natural instincts. We're becoming more attuned or aligned with what our um unnatural socioeconomic system is actually causing for us or creating for us. So I have a short video on just what satisfaction economy is. I'm going to play that for you. It's just about a 2-minute video. I hope you guys don't mind.
Satisfaction economy. What it is. A new economic system to function alongside the existing money-based system, where the impact self-governed individuals have on others, the environment, and themselves, will be the value of measure and trade for experiences and things beyond basic needs. In this new satisfaction-based system, trust will be manifest and spread through shared knowledge of our intrinsic values and experiences, our common ground. It will function with the objective to address pertinent global, local, and personal issues. Satisfaction economy is an opportunity to update the system we all know is flawed. The most tragic of flaws is our being born into it without choice, for life. Equally tragic is that for most of the human population, our circumstances do not allow us to thrive, without negatively impacting others, the environment, and ourselves. Initiatives to switch the system around have always met with resistance and perished as they are threats to the system and the way of life in it. Satisfaction economy is not a threat. It does not need anarchy or violence. It does not require radical lifestyle change. It does not involve any threat to ownership. It is an opportunity to use our intelligence and provide ourselves with a better system that values compassion and wisdom over greed and hate. Till one day where, maybe, we won't need any systems.
Thanks. Just a short video to, you know, so just moving on to our current paradigm, understanding where the issues are and what our current social economic system is basically comprised of and how it functions. And I'm using these as, you know, 4 pillars of our current socioeconomic system so that we can compare it with what I'm proposing through satisfaction economy as well. So primarily, our current socioeconomic system is centralized and there is low autonomy. It's a money-based system, so and valuation of money in our economic system has historically been defined by supply and demand. But in a system where we're creating demand and controlling supply, the valuation becomes, you know, redundant. And of course, the objectivity of this social economic system is profit or has been profit maximization, which has been unsustainable and not holistic. It's atomistic and well, just so if we look at uh, our current system and go through a 5 why exercise with a simple problem statement of humans are destroying Earth by living unsustainably. And we go through the 5 why exercise and say why? Because the models employed are capitalistic and do not consider much of the natural world. Why? Because we have a monetary motive and old recessive models. Why? Because we have lack of contextual originality, unless for profit maximization, because we're thinking within our socioeconomic pyramid and are unable to think beyond it. Why? Because money has so far made the world go round, and it is also supposedly dumbing us down as well. And why are we allowing that to happen is because it's our continued choice. We're unable to see beyond it. And that creates a barrier to change. So as an exercise, if we flip the problem statement into a solution statement or a satisfactory statement, so humans are replenishing Earth by living sustainably. And if we flip the whys as to explain how we're doing this, the first how would be the models employed are humanistic and consider the natural world. How? Because we are intrinsically motivated as opposed to intrinsically motivated. And we have developed trust-based models. How have we done that? Because there's an abundance of creative thinking, critical problem solving, and contextual originality for satisfaction maximization and to ensure that our impact is positive. How? Because impact wises us up, and that's what we measure. And how? Because we as a society, as a community, as people uh, who understand that that unification is a desirable goal, we choose to make this change. We understand its importance and we choose to make the change. So satisfaction economy is a choice to live outside the money system as a means to reduce harmful human impact. Now, there are, of course, as Julie has also mentioned, that there are a lot of people who are addressing the issues that the system has caused. Uh, but most of the approach that we're taking is again very symptomatic. We're not addressing the cause. And although we are looking to achieve the 17 SDGs, the time taking to achieve them is considered to be too long. So how do we expedite that shift? How do we expedite the movement towards a better paradigm? And this is what satisfaction economy was set up hypothetically to do. Um, so now, considering that we have another system that we can, or let me just go back and talk about the four core principles of satisfaction economy as well, which act as the yin to our current socioeconomics yang. Um, the first core principle is, or the first pillar is self-governance or autonomy. And second is, of course, the satisfaction-based system where we're measuring impact. Third is, of course, trust-based system. And the fourth is right now, because this is a system that can evolve based on the needs of the time. As of now, the most pertinent need is to address issues that we're all facing. In the future, this can be modified to achieve personal, local, global endeavors. So barriers to change. Great. Yeah. So through my through the process of actually bringing out satisfaction economy, I've faced most of this and understood most of it as well. The first barrier that comes up, the strongest barrier is, of course, cognitive biases and psychological barriers that hinder people from embracing new ideas or even considering them. The law of commons, this is the tension between self-interest and collective well-being. The solutions to this, of course, are social awareness, raising accountability and self-awareness. The prisoner's dilemma, which says that we, again, choose selfishly when given a choice, when we choose to benefit ourselves, even though that choice would be more detrimental to all parties. Another barrier to change is, a bit of a cliche, but it also holds true that nice people finish last. And that's because we've created within our socioeconomic system, we've rewarded narcissism. We've promoted it and rewarded it through unhealthy competition. And therefore, empathetic people are actually create insecurity in, a narcissistic world. And they're not, it's difficult for them to actually stand out and stand up. Uh, and of course, we understand that empathy contributes to our overall satisfaction. So it is something that is very important, and we need to shift back towards that as a human, as our race, as a human race. The last, of course, includes conformity, disassociation, fear, desensitization, occupations, entertainment. These are not just occupations or how we occupy ourselves. It's also a way for us to be controlled. And we've seen this historically as well through, the examples of the Colosseum where entertainment was used to control the mob. Uh, it's still being done, just in a more refined manner. So of course, here to deal with these issues, we need to bring in the concept of cognitive balance so that we can navigate these challenges effectively. And of course, practical strategies for managing dissonance. So just moving on to understanding how the transition would take place. This is a accessible model of systemic change called the two loops model. It, of course, is, it defines the transition from the dominant system to an emergent system generically. But this influence or this transition usually happens in systems that are influenced by other systems as well. When we talk about the socio-economic system, it is a monopoly. There are no other systems that are influencing it. There are no systems that can, you know, help it transition to something else or make it realize that something else is required. So this model actually changes, and how we can see the possible implementation of the satisfaction economy. There are three possible tracks that I see. The first is a symbiotic or complementary track, which I think would work the best because it offers us a choice, a dual economic model where we have the current money economy, because we do recognize that a lot of good practices, a lot of good has come from that, and we would like to retain that. The new system would complement both systems would complement each other and would function together, where people could decide which economy they would like to live in or work in, strive in, or flourish in. The second implementation track could be a replacement, which the two loops model also talks about, where over time we introduce the new concepts, the principles of satisfaction economy. Over time, the old system gets replaced by the new system. But then again, I prefer that we create a model where we give ourselves choice, where we, can look at both forms of competition, both forms of organizational structure and enterprise. So, and the third track that could possibly happen is change from within. where we recognize the importance of the principles of the satisfaction economy and start applying them not just individually, but to our organizational and functional approach, how our organizations function as well. Yeah, in this implementation, of course, there are a few things that we need to keep in mind that the transitioning will involve. Was this means new metrics for measuring impact, uh, a matrix that involves our an individual circumstance, desire, and the impact that they have on themselves can be created uh, to measure the impact that everybody has. Of course, policy changes will be required. This is just a brief about what the transition would involve and what it would look like. Where we are now, just a quick look at where we are. There is, of course, growing awareness. There is 21st century skills that are being applied to, solutions to improving the way we're doing things. Technology has brought in a lot of connectivity and, of course, collaborative platforms. The importance of cognitive balance is coming up again, where organizations are recognizing that the well-being of employees is paramount to the success of the organization as well. And of course, recognition of not just satisfaction economy as a concept, but the core principles of the system. What's next? So of course, we're looking at garnering support, uh, again, not just for the model, but for the principles, for the core pillars itself. Expanding the discussion, which is something we're doing today as well. Redefining success metrics, and of course, fostering a culture of well-being and sustainability. Investing in sustainable technologies and building partnerships that support equitable growth and impact. Great. So that was a brief presentation on satisfaction economy. I've got a few, to stay in touch and everything, just some links. And I would love to open it up to a more interactive session where I can take any questions that you may have.